We live.
I be jamming, then I have to catch myself like, okay, wait, the camera about to
I
pick
know,
up.
right? I was like, why she pick that old jamming song right there?
Okay, first of all, we said we were going to talk about cultural taboos, sexual taboos, all the things. I'm calling both y'all asses out. Let's talk about this CP time thing, okay?
Okay, well,
This is
okay,
a
you
real
right,
thing,
you
and I
right.
don't understand. I don't understand.
Okay, so let me explain. See,
Explain
what
it.
had happened was
Explain it.
there you go. That's what had happened. See, the family was on the phone. It was family FaceTime call, and yeah. So it was
Gypsy jumped in here, was all kind of fuck y'all and fuck you too, and I was like, what?
Oh, they was in my ear though. You should have heard what was being said to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, CP time, that's a real thing. I have
Okay,
learned
it is
at
a real
events,
thing.
I gotta tell y'all an hour ahead because none of y'all asses know how to show up on time. And you ruin surprises and just be fucking up shit. Like I don't understand. I don't understand.
Okay, so maybe we do. I mean, but I ain't as bad as my sister.
Okay.
My sister would be late for her own funeral if don't nobody
Jasmine said,
bring her.
don't lie on her. You call her.
Oh no, it's for real. But I know I called. I called y'all because you missed the early call, like you supposed to call. Y'all was supposed to call during the day. Y'all didn't call. But anyway, my sister would be late for her own funeral if anybody else got to bring her.
All right then. Sean, what say you before we move on?
I mean, normally I'm the type of dude, if you ain't early, you're late. You know what I'm saying? But now today I lost track of time. I was working on something, and because when I looked, it was like 5:45. Like, all right, I can wrap this up real quick, and the next thing I know, I'm like, oh shit, it's 6:03. I gotta get on here. You know what I'm saying? So
In
you
other
know,
words, he don't get no check from us, so he don't give a fuck about
it
me.
ain't nah, it ain't. I
That's
just
what
got.
you do with that.
See, I did. Y'all coming at me, and I didn't even say that shit. I never said
I
nothing like
said
that.
Gypsy, not you, because
No,
he
Oh,
is
okay,
no,
okay,
but
okay.
wait a minute. No, because what he has said was you didn't catch it. I'm usually that you ain't on if you not early, you late.
Yeah, and that's why I was late, and I own up to it. I accept all of that.
I'll be
You
right
know,
back.
I mean,
so Gypsy will be right back. But Sean, tell me, why do you think it's a real thing? Because we always joke about it at events and all the kind of things that we
and
do
no,
in our
it's
community.
it's it's a real thing because I don't know what it is. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what it is. I mean, me personally, I have personal trauma behind that. When I was a kid, I was always late to everything, and I was a real active kid. So I'd be like in plays and games and like football, things of that nature. And I'm late because of my mother. So at a young age, I had to stop relying. I was like, yo, I gotta get there on my own because my mom is gonna make me late.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time when I was in elementary school, I lost the leading role to my understudy because I was a half hour late. So then they just threw me on as a narrator to the show.
Oh
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? You know, man, look, moms, you look, I'm gonna tell you about it. If you show up, you show up. If you don't, you don't. But I'm out.
You know what's funny with me is I have time, so ADHD, time blindness real bad. Like I used to be on time, but as I age, and I'm always trying to filter through all the things in my mind. So like in the morning time, I'll get up. I'm an early bird. I'm up between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning every morning. And
Mm-hmm.
let's say I have to be somewhere at 7, whatever. I'll start thinking about all the things I now have time to do.
Right.
Oh, okay, I ain't got to leave here till about 6:15 to get there, 7, get there early, be chill, settle myself. And, and then I get lost in doing all the things. Oh, I can fit, like you said, I got time, I can finish this up. And that time blindness is real. And then I look up and it's 6:15 and I'm still naked, got to get dressed and get myself together to get out the door. So I think that there is some of that. Sometimes we're overwhelmed by life, but it's a cultural thing that I don't understand. I grew up hearing, oh, they just gonna be on CP time, or they just gonna be on our folks. And it's like, why is that acceptable? If it's a struggle, it's a struggle. But why is it acceptable?
But the thing is, I'm not late for work. I'm not late if I really gotta be somewhere.
Right.
Really, but I have found that lately, I'm just gonna keep it honest. Lately, I've been late for a lot of things because life is lifing and it's overwhelming me right now. Environments that I have to be in feel toxic sometimes, and I just can't. And it drains me. And so then the things that I want to do and places I want to be, I have no energy for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's real. That is real.
So that is the major part of it, is that you're so busy trying to be strong and look strong, and it's hard to say I just need a timeout.
That's real. Everybody's exhausted, right? Like we are, and I have this conversation. I feel like every day we're in fight or flight. We're in survival mode as a culture, as a community, as individuals, as couples, as families, as friends, as all the things. And so everybody's doing their best that they can to stay alive, to stay afloat, right? And maybe not necessarily having the emotional capacity or space to hold space for each other to understand. So that leads to the frustration of us snapping at each other. And I don't know, when people snap at me, I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing? Okay. I'm gonna go drink some water, mind my fucking business, and sit in my corner, right? Because I'm gonna give you what you give me. Like I'm gonna love you with everything I got, fiercely and intensely. But if you give me your ass to kiss, okay. And that's not always necessarily the right response either. I'm not gonna even defend it and say that it is. It's just who I am. But I think a lot of us are in that maybe a little bit more than we usually would be too. Which leads to the I'm gonna show up late because if I gotta go, I'm gonna get there when I get there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I just no. The thing is it's like, it's not that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't want to go. It's that you're overwhelmed from the places that you have to be, that the places that you want to be get what's left.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes as an introvert though, I don't want to go. I like the idea of being invited somewhere. Like I like the idea of my presence being valued enough to be wanted to be there, but I don't necessarily always really want to be there. So a lot of times I still pride myself on trying to deal with my time blindness and be more aware and keep myself on track, put alarms on my phone, those type of things. But there are some times that I have a mindset of get there when I get there, bitches, like whatever.
Have you ever bought tickets to something?
Nope.
No. With the full intention of, yep, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna go. I have.
And not go.
Nah.
Have
done
nah.
I don't play those games.
The day of, I feel depleted, and I just don't have the energy. I don't want the production of it. I mean, I can't tell you how many tickets I done wasted to stuff because I just don't want to do the production of it, because I've had an overwhelming week. I've had an oversensitized week. the thing is like Jan said, being an introvert, right? Like you just some days you just can't do people that day because you just peopled out.
Yeah.
No, I mean I feel that and I understand that. Trust me, I
And
do.
he like, and I'm still going.
No, 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 no. I'm like, I'm gonna let you know up front.
Mm.
Nope, I don't want to do that because I
But
already
what
know.
about Gypsy and
No,
Steve?
it's
When you
like
buy
I
the ticket?
wanted to. I
Yeah.
wanted to do it. It was really it was I wanted to do it at the time that I bought the ticket. It was a great idea. But the event was maybe a week or two away. And between the time that I purchased the ticket and the event, I was peopled out.
Can I also throw out there from the cultural aspect? I think a lot of times I feel like I want to do something because, okay, they look like me. I want to support.
Mm-mm.
I want to have my people's back. But then I don't want to be bothered with them. So there's oftentimes that I've spent money to support some, bought tickets, did all the things, and I know I'm not finna go. But I did it because I want to support my people. I want to sow into their dream. I ain't going though, or I might see if I can get a ticket to somebody else.
I mean, that's the thing. You could always make a donation, or you could be
Yeah.
like,
Right.
"Hey, you want to go to this show? I'll get you a ticket." Just to support and. But I mean, me personally, I know myself well enough that when you say something to me, depending on and based it on how I feel at that moment. Plus, I'm already forecasting what I got to deal with the rest of this week, especially when it's 2 weeks away. Ooh, and
Mhm.
it's got to be something that I really want to do that I'm
Right.
going to do it. Other than that, I'm like, you know what? Nah, go ahead without me.
So let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about sex, baby, because we got a lot of taboos and we
I'm
got
sorry
a
when you
lot.
said that. I thought about the Salt and
Let's
Pepper
talk
song.
Let's
about
talk
sex,
about sex,
baby.
baby.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
you
you
and
and
me.
me. Oh,
So let's talk about it because we got a lot of taboos when it comes to sensuality, sexuality, sexual activity, relationships, all, love, romance, fucking, like all the things. I literally had a conversation with someone today, and we were talking about the disparity in how black boys are raised and how black girls are raised. So black boys are often socialized that shit, get another one. She
To
ain't
be
acting right,
hoes,
fuck her. Get another
to
one.
be hoes. Just say it. Just to
Right,
be hoes,
right, to be
but
hoes.
not classified as hoes.
Right. It's you're being a man,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
right.
then girls are socialized. Girl, if he ain't beating on you, if he ain't cheating on you, if he ain't jail, you better keep him. He could be hoeing up and down the block calling you everything but a child of God. But you better keep him because half a raggedy man is better than no man, right? And I
And
think
what
that
about
is a
these
big role
women
to
that?
play.
Wait a minute. What about these women that would rather have a jailbird?
Who I don't get
Yeah,
it.
that's something. That's something
I
too.
don't get
That's
Get
it.
something
it.
It's
too.
life after lockup, and I was like, people
That's
really
something too.
signing up for this shit.
Listen,
You already in jail when I meet you. I don't meet
nope.
somebody in
And
jail.
depending on if we together, what you go to jail for, you might not be with me when you get no. I ain't that.
How people meet people in jail?
I don't get it. I
It,
don't
it,
know.
it's all kinds, man. It's all
I
kinds.
don't get it.
Some
But
people want the ultimate bad boy, and you the ultimate bad boy because you already in jail.
Oh
but
no.
I don't understand for me, because I keep saying I, I understand being loyal over, let's say a random example. We got a kid and somebody's messing with our child and you go to jail for beating somebody's ass over our kid. Oh, I'm with you to the end. I'm with you to the end. You go to jail for
Right.
defending me or somebody else or doing the right thing. Hands
Right.
down, ain't nobody tell me different. I got you. But if you just going to jail for some stupid shit, oh no. And I'm not, there's nothing in me. I don't understand the mindset. I can't process it. There is nothing in me that makes me feel like I want to be living a life of freedom out here. You locked up in there. I'm in my prime as an example. I'm 45. Women in their prime in their 40s. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna park that. Gypsy also talks about it in her 50s. So I'm gonna park that there too. Hey Jason. So that being said, I don't understand how a lot of these women are deciding I want to get with a man that can't give me none, that can't see me, that can't touch me, that can't kiss me, that can't lick me, that can't do nothing but talk to me on the phone and maybe
And call me collect that
walking
thing.
down the hall. No. What? No.
Now
Yeah,
they
they
don't
think
be
about that.
they don't be having collect calls no more. You got they got like plans where you could the person on the
How the
outside
fuck you
paid
know?
for it.
No.
How I know? I can't tell you that's classified, but I know.
Or
No, but
G14 classified.
You know what I'm saying?
We know
But
what
I
that
know, trust
means.
me, because I see it.
Oh,
Because
see.
I see it all the time
Uh-huh.
when people
Yeah.
be paying
Or
for people.
or you
mm-mm.
asking for a friend.
Nah, I ain't asking for nobody. I'm just telling you, I see it all the time. I see it, like I literally see it. I see people shit, and I'm like, wow, okay.
That is crazy.
Like, yo, you spending
That's
all that
because you
money
just
for
don't
this
have
mother?
minutes.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it's just like if you remember back in the day, cell phone plans. It's
Yeah.
just like that. It's just like that, and they pay for that shit. And I see it. I'm like, wow, okay, you
Nope.
Oh.
like
It
wow,
ain't
like
nothing to me that
okay.
wants to be out here free and feel like I want to link myself to somebody that ain't got no freedom.
Well,
And nothing to do
but
up, but at least you
I'm
know
gonna
where
tell
it
you,
is.
I'm gonna break down the mentality for you.
Please do.
They already know he ain't going nowhere. He ain't doing nothing. They know exactly where he at. He ain't running the streets.
He
Uh-uh.
got a boyfriend though.
Nah, I mean, you know,
I,
that depend on the person themselves if they got a boyfriend or not. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know,
uh,
hey, he probably got a couple of other pen pals or date site buddies or whatever the fuck.
oh
And,
yeah.
Yeah,
and when
but
he get
I'm talking about his cellmate.
I know what you talked about, but that ain't always the case. I mean, it's the case a lot of the time, but it ain't always the case because some niggas will hold their own when they get locked up. So you
So,
know what I'm
but all
saying?
I'm saying is, Sean, I understand that the jail, but what I'm still looking at, and maybe I just can't process it. I
You
can't
can't.
understand the mindset of
You
me being
can't.
free, and
You
I want
can't.
to link myself because I understand he ain't running the street and sleeping with no other woman, but he's sleeping with me either. That's insane.
Hey, yeah, yeah, maybe he in this place where y'all can get conjugal visits.
Uh-uh.
You never
Nope.
Nah,
know.
they don't have no conjugal business unless you married.
Hey,
And you had
and
to have been married before you went to jail.
I mean, I don't know how that process worked, but you know, it is what it is. All I know is people be having conjugal visits sometimes. That's
So
all
why
I
do y'all think that's a cultural thing? Because that seems to be rampant in our community as far as holding it down, standing by our man,
Nah, but
being his
it's
It
really
whatever.
is.
it
It
really
is
it really
fake.
it really is not. See, what you got to understand is that's the bullshit that society brings to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
And perfect example, just like the show Gypsy mentioned earlier, most
Mhm.
of the motherfuckers be white.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
you
watch it. I
right.
don't know.
You
And I
right.
don't watch it either, but I've
I don't
seen
watch
it.
it either, but I seen the commercials and stuff. But I'm
And
just
most of
thinking that
them,
maybe people buy into that rhetoric. But now, yeah, I just.
So
But they
let's
are
talk.
the ones that's getting out though. So that might be why that's why we only seeing them. That's why it's life after lockup. Because a lot of the black folk, when we go in there, he may come out in a wheelchair
Oh,
yeah, I'm telling you, if I ever
on
got
the cane.
locked up, if I ever got locked up, I'm leaving. I'm either I'm leaving dead or I'm just not leaving because I'm gonna be locked up for life. Because as soon as I
Yeah,
get in
because
there and
black
somebody
people,
talking about they trying to take me, I'm killing somebody. Either
but
I'm
you
gonna kill
know,
you or you gonna kill me. But ain't nobody. Yeah, you can rape a dead body, but nah, it ain't going down like that.
but the thing is though, Sean, is a lot of times when black people get locked up, we get locked up for a longer time than white people anyway. And
Oh
most of
no,
the
that's
time,
true.
they be trying to, they may as well give you life because they give you so much time that you're going to die in there.
And that's true. That's true.
You
my
know,
wife watches and
because
loves and watches.
I didn't see white people get off like we'll go to jail for less than a white person,
Yeah.
and a white person has done a worse crime.
I mean, but we know that. It's not fair.
Right.
It's some fuck shit, and we know
Listen,
it, but
my
but
cousin got 40 years in the Fed for selling drugs, right? But we didn't see people get less time for killing folks when they white.
facts. Jason said my wife watches Love and Lockup and knows women's self-esteem low as fuck. Yeah,
Mm,
low as hell. And that's not like that's why I'm like I can't process it. And it just may not be for
no.
me to ever understand because that's not my mentality, right? But that does seem to be a cultural thing that I hear a lot of people talk about, especially when I've worked in like lower income programs, community programs, when I worked with at-risk teens, things like that. It was always the communication around, oh, my boyfriend in jail, my husband in jail, my baby daddy in jail. I gotta go put this on his books. I gotta go do that. And I'm like, the fuck? Go,
You
go
out
be
here, you
free.
out here working
Run.
so you can put money on his books.
But
You
see,
better
that's the
eat them
thing
ramen
you got.
noodles and shut the fuck up.
That's the thing you got to understand is that that's not your mentality. When you deal with a certain aspect of a certain group of people,
Mhm. Yeah,
that's their mentality because that's all
yeah.
they know. That's what they've been brought up in. That's what's been ingrained in them.
So what? So uh, Jasmine said just putting all his business out there. And Nadina said many women who rock with that, they come from what, Nadina? Um, I
Yep,
hate to say it's a poverty mindset, but I do think part of
they
it
do.
may be a
They
poverty
come from
mindset.
the hood.
Yeah,
They come from the hood. They come from an environment where that's a little bit more acceptable.
right.
Yeah,
More
yeah,
expected,
yeah.
more expected too.
But also, who knows? Her daddy may be locked up.
They
You know
may
what
be
I'm saying?
true.
Like
Oh my gosh.
her mama may have a man that was in jail, and so that's. Let me tell you something. I believe in generational curses. I also
Yeah.
believe in folks learning by example, right? And so you'll have people that are generationally in Section 8 housing and stuff,
Very true.
or generationally on the system or whatever, because,
Do you
you
think it
know,
is more prevalent with people out there, Dad? I asked that question because I went on a date and this guy, he was asking me questions to get to know me, and some of the stuff that he was asking, and forgive me because I don't even remember what it was, but I guess based on how I was answering, he was like, "Oh, you must have had a daddy in your life," and I was like, "What the fuck? what? What?" And don't get like he
he was
presented.
waving the red flag. He was at the circus and didn't even realize
Listen,
it.
listen, that was the first and only date. And the crazy thing was, like, he did share with me some of his past. He grew up in the hood, little thug, got responsibility in his adulthood, had his life together, stable financially, all the things from what he shared with me. Very respectful, opened my doors, pulled my seat, all the things. But when he made that comment, I was like, what the? Oh, no. And so, do you think that sometimes some of this is happening for lack of a healthy father role model or mother figure in our lives?
I mean, of course, a lot of times it is, but I mean, also, and that's the thing that people don't understand because, like, you can be a product of your environment, or you could make the choice to say, "Fuck that! I'm going to do what I need to do to get up out of here."
Yeah. Jason said he was like, "Yeah, I can't run it on you, Jay. Listen." Oh God.
But a lot of times it's just
You
it's people's mentality, and that's the thing when you get caught up and sucked up. That's why, like, when I was young, I didn't watch rap video. Like, I love rap music. I've been in the hip hop culture since day one. Like ever since I don't even remember how old I was when I heard the Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But but I don't really like the video so much because they just show you the image of shit that ain't real.
yeah,
And a lot of people feed into that shit. And then you got motherfuckers like these young niggas, they they call YNs now,
yeah,
that's out here doing dumb shit because they think that's the life they supposed to lead. It's like, yo, what happened to the motherfuckers that came up out of this shit and became lawyers and doctors that were innovators, inventors that made shit that people needed, and but nah, but they won't push that agenda.
yeah.
Mhm.
They push
Well,
that
because that
stereotype.
don't sell. People want chaos. People want drama. People want bullshit.
Mhm. But you
It's,
know what? If people are just so toxic and used to toxicity, right? A normal relationship feels boring to them.
Very true.
yeah, oh no, that's no, that's definitely true, definitely true,
And
definitely true.
so sometimes they need the excitement of ass whooping and shit. Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
but
no,
I'm just
no,
saying.
no,
Not me.
There are people out there that like it though. They
that's
Uh,
feel
definitely true.
that's what's normal. Like you don't love me if we ain't beefing a little bit and giving each other hell and keeping it spicy. Listen, you
That's
ain't finna
that's
call me out my name. You ain't finna disrespect me. I ain't finna call you out your name. Don't put your hands on me. I'm not putting my hands. We got boundaries. We gonna act like grown civilized adults and use our words like they taught us in kindergarten. But you got people out there that genuinely feel like that's
you
what.
ain't finna shake me like you trying to drop change out of my pocket. I'm not finna do that shit.
Oh my
We are
god.
but
not doing that.
but
Mm.
people don't know better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's all they saw. That's all they know. They not trying to know better.
Zealand Z Media said the woman that has a relationship with someone in jail, can you trust her not to cheat? I mean, especially depending on how long he in there. And if he holding it down and sending money to her from where he at, if he got stuff in place or if she taking care of
You know,
him, I don't know.
you know what?
Or if he
There's
taking
a
care of her because it
rapper.
might be his girl in jail. I don't know.
That rapper that said, wait a minute, what is that?
While you look that up, Jasmine said, just watch that movie Precious. That'll tell you all you need to know. Oh, Jesus. Toxic as fuck. Yes. Jason said, yeah, you right, Jay. I don't want to get into it 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, Jason, don't start your shit tonight.
Okay, look, that girl named Amaretta the Great. You know that chick that did Sorry Not Sorry. So anyway,
Mm-mm.
her man is in jail, been in jail, and ain't getting out. I remember seeing she had a interview that somebody did with her, and she talked about how he was not getting out, and she been with him since she was young or whatever, and she waiting for him, but he ain't getting out, bitch. What?
Nope. Mm-mm.
You already said he ain't getting out.
Nope. Nope.
Yep, I
Y'all
remember
can
seeing
keep it.
that,
So let's
and
get to the
she
good
was,
stuff. Let's
yeah.
talk about some more taboo shit in our community sexually. What? Because we talked about the disparity and how boys and girls are being socialized when they're growing up. What are some? So I'm asking y'all to consider it, and I'm gonna share one that somebody
Okay,
said.
sorry, I have a correction. He's got 27 years.
Oh, baby, no.
And so she is with him, down with him, and she goes back to, yeah, she got a 7 tattoo dedicated to her incarcerated boyfriend.
Nope.
She just been back and forth to the jail to
Nope.
see him.
Nope.
So
Jasmine said, "Ain't that
on
much stupidity? Ain't enough therapy for that much stupidity? Nope."
Right.
on that note, I just think I've always had this long, hard, fast rule in my lifetime. Look, if I'm going to jail for 5 years or less, I expect you to have my back. But anything over 5 years, fuck it, do you? Cause by the time I get out, the world gonna be so fucking different anyway. I ain't gonna be able to adjust. I'm just gonna go back to doing what I was doing.
Jason said, question, when women go to prison, is it automatically they got a girlfriend while in lockup, or is it just men? I don't know.
It's women too. Trust me, it's women too. They
I
go in
don't know.
there. Ooh.
You know, but I heard that people be gay for the stay.
Nah, fuck that. That's that bullshit. Like, I ain't
I'm
gay
just
now.
saying.
I was just prison gay. It's about the power. Nah, fuck that. You gay, nigga. You sitting there fucking another nigga, you gay. Shit.
That's what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying they be talking about they gay for the stay, and I'm just like, well,
Yeah,
you
nah.
stayed for 30 fucking
Nah.
years. What do you mean?
Yeah. So you gay.
No,
Right.
I can't touch it because I don't know. So one of the things that so last week when we put this topic out there, we asked you all to tell us what your thoughts were on some of the stigmas or cultural thoughts and things within our culture, within our community. I was actually surprised. So a couple of people did email and send messages, and a few of them overlapped around the same topic, that being oral sex. And I was like, okay, so the question centered around, is there a stigma more on women performing oral sex versus men? And I was like, I don't really know how to answer that. I think it's just personal preference. That's my thought. I didn't realize there was a cultural stigma around oral sex.
It really is. Now, I do love me a good 69. But
sharing.
But B, I just wanted to put that out there because I do. But
ladies, shoot your shot.
But if you only gonna get a 34 and a half, I don't know.
But B, it is more of a thing amongst men not to go down on women, which I don't understand because I love cunnilingus.
Oh, you get fancy with it, huh? Cunnilingus. Okay, come on through.
I'm sorry. I love to eat pussy. My fault. I ain't mean to get fancy. I'm just saying, like,
everybody don't know what cunnilingus is. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it.
I love fellatio.
They don't know what the hell fellatio is either. Sometimes
I love getting my dick sucked. That's what fellatio is.
You know, I like the technical terms.
Yeah, but like you said, though, we trying to train people on the correct terminology.
I'm just saying,
right?
Like,
but if they still walking around calling it purses, cookie jars, and pocketbooks, we got to use the lingo, and then we got to give them.
Ain't nobody blushing. You go to hell. Ain't nobody blushing. Jason.
Motherfuckers try right? They try to connect dots that ain't even there. But anyway,
I know they talking about some why you blushing. Ain't nobody blushing. Shit, I'm drinking right here.
But anyway,
please continue.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like that's like the ultimate skill. Like, you know, like being a growing up in that kind of atmosphere. Growing up, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it until I became older, and I was just like, let me just do this shit. And then I was like, oh shit, I could make you do what? I could make you move like, oh shit, okay.
So is it about control for you?
Now I can't lie.
Yeah.
No, I can't lie. I am kind of a control freak in the bedroom to a point. Then don't get me wrong. I can sometimes I can just lay back and like, hey, do you? Because sometimes I might learn something new, like, oh shit, I didn't even know I like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like that's the like the ultimate, like for me, it's like the ultimate thing. Like, yo, I could use my hands to make you come. I could use my mouth to make you come, and I ain't even entered you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so now when you catch this, oh my god, so it's a whole, but it's meant, but that's when it comes down to the mental part of it.
But why is that? Why do you think that's cultural?
Well, it's cultural because growing up, most dudes like, nah, you don't eat no pussy. No, that's nasty. And it's like
in the black community, yeah.
It's like really.
And wait a minute. They also talk about you eat something.
Jason said your face. So who you talking about, Jason? Whose face?
I know what he's talking about. I know what you're talking about. You know what? Go to hell, Jason. But anywho,
You know what? So Sean, so like I said, Gypsy and Sean, that I think there was like 6 or 7 messages that came through that brought that up in context some kind of way. And it was like 3 of them, I think, maybe 4, that were talking about the cultural implications of why do we feel shame around it? Why, why do people, I guess, feel like it's still a no? So I didn't realize that it was a cultural thing, but it makes sense, like you're saying, that
But
men are
it's all.
taught to not do it. But let's throw out their religion, because we grow up,
But
a lot of us in the church, and it's a sin. You know.
well, I'm gonna touch on that in a second, but it's also like a cultural thing for black women not to go down on men.
exactly. That's what I was just talking about. It's like that. Yeah, it was like, don't put nothing in your mouth like that.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of black
Oh my
guys,
goodness.
because white girls, they
That's why they
do
do white girls.
real quick. Like white
Now,
girls
I
would be
did
like,
grow up hearing that. I
yeah,
I
yeah,
But
grew
you
up
know
white,
hearing that in
why?
high and high school. Like,
But you
white
know,
girls was doing it. Yeah, don't
yeah,
do
yeah,
that
but
white,
you
to
know
white
why?
women.
They
Yeah,
were they were giving head because they were
to
still
save their
claiming their
virginity.
virginity.
Yeah,
exactly. They be like,
And
I don't get no
they was
pussy.
giving head and doing anal
yeah.
Yeah, and
because
they be
then they
like,
could
Because
still
they
say
was
they
a
were a
virgin,
virgin.
right?
mm-hmm.
And they didn't risk pregnancy. And so
So,
that's, I mean, that was their thing, was so that they didn't risk pregnancy. And we was like, we gonna roll these dice because I ain't putting my mouth on shit. No, let me stop.
I mean, but that's the thing too, because I've always been the guy like, yo, if you ain't give me no head, then we ain't got nothing to talk about.
She can't be your friend.
Nah, we ain't
Can be
got
your
shit to talk
friend.
about. We ain't got shit to talk. You ain't give me no head.
I
We ain't
can't be your
got shit
man.
to
It
talk
ain't
about.
you. It's me. Sorry, shouted. I can't be your man.
Nah,
Right.
we ain't got shit to talk about. Like, nope,
Oh my
not
god.
at all. Cause I need that. I need. Look, I need because if look, I'm be honest. I
And
don't
he
get
get
no
his
head.
words out. Take a breath. Take a breath. It's all right. Compose
No, I'm
yourself.
just saying. I'm just saying. If I don't get no head, then we probably gonna be like 5 minutes, and that's it. Yeah. Give me some head. I give you a good hour and a half, but no head. 5 minutes. All right, get out.
Jazz,
And get
what
out.
that mouth do?
I mean, that's
Uh,
just how I was arrogant though, because I was a hellion, so you know
Was
what?
was what when I
okay.
was young. When I
Okay.
was young, I've matured. I've grown up. I've been a grown man for quite some time.
Jason said, "Ye black women just came out the
That's
beat."
true. That's true. I agree with you 100%. Because before
Yeah.
you had to talk him into it, and I'm like, yo, I ain't even talk. Look, is you if you not doing that, then we can't do nothing. Peace. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
since about 08, 09, yeah, it'd be like I ain't even gotta say that. I was just like, yeah. So how's the weather? Oh shit. Okay, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying?
Jesus. All right then. So I guess Gypsy will be back. But with that being said, another question that came through. Gypsy, you all right?
Yeah, she just kind of bounced.
Right? So another question that came through, and I'm paraphrasing, was around the cultural expectation and the tradition of black women holding a man down, but often seeing black men, when a woman starts to go through struggle or her shit's not right, he'll be I'm bouncing on to the next. Whereas we're socialized and expected to hold that man down, raise him up, pour into him. He's a good man, Savannah, and make it work until he's better. And then sometimes still seeing that man turn around and go leave to get the next version of the newer model.
And for that, to me personally, you just a bitch ass nigga. I'm
I mean,
sorry, but
I can't agree with you more. I
I'm I'm
can't.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but if
good man,
and,
my ass.
and that's the thing, because back in the day, that's how Big Mama earned the name Big Mama,
Mm, yeah,
because back in the day, When Pops was up, he was up. But when he was down, she held him down
Yeah,
until he got back up again.
yeah.
But at some point in time, niggas would be down, and the shorty will hold him up, and as soon as he get on his feet, he want to bounce out, and it's like, yo, that's some fucked up bullshit.
But
And
men
that's
were different too back then, though, Sean,
and
because
that's true.
even though they were in the street, they still took care of home. He may
Yeah.
have had another family around the corner across the street,
But he was gonna bring
but
that check home.
he didn't bring that stuff home. He had she knew that them kids was his age. Shit, they looked just like hers. But you know, but it was the don't ask, don't tell kind of situation, because he was still paying all the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is how you gonna be out in the street and cheating and you need half the bill money from me? Fuck out of here.
Ooh.
I'm like, how you gonna sit home all day, smoke weed, play PlayStation, Xbox, can't even pick the kids up from school, but as soon as she get home from work, you want to take her car and go see some other shorty?
Yo, listen. Okay, so first of all, commercial break. If you have not done so, make sure that you click that subscribe button so you get notified every time we go live. Make sure you hit that like button, and we love y'all for being in the comments. Make sure you grab that share link, because if you don't really like your people, that's fine. But if you like them and love them, share that link so they can get in on the conversation. That being said, Delarian, whoever, uh, somebody shared a post from him, and I saw it this morning, and he was talking about child support. Now, I don't even know who this dude is, right? But he looks maybe 20s, 30s. And he's literally going in talking about how he did a side-by-side picture of him and his son, and his son will be 18 in a few months. And he hasn't seen his son since he was a year and a half. So when he put the picture up, the son's mother got in the comments like, pay your child support. Dude is $130-something thousand in the arrears. He goes on to say he ain't giving her shit. And when his son is 18, he can make up his own mind, and hopefully he'll come talk to him and see how she kept them apart. First of fucking all, if you were that, and then he goes on to talk about it ain't even about the money. I'm worried about his mental health. If you worried about that, why were you not in court using your resources and your funds to fight for custody, shared custody, joint custody, goddamn it, visitation, something? And then
Right.
he goes on to say, y'all in my comments hating and talking all this shit. Y'all just made me another $150,000 in social media money, and shows the screenshots of it. Are you really sitting here like, these are the cultural things that I look at that we continue to get stuck in, because you really up on social media bragging about being an ancient father and blaming her that you haven't seen your son, hadn't paid child support, ain't gonna pay child support, and hoping that your son will take it upon himself to come fix the relationship with you. Like, that shit just boggles my mind.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
finna say something that's not gonna be popular. And then you have these women that are dating these ain't shit men, knowing
Facts.
they ain't shit,
Facts.
promoting the fact that he ain't taking care of his kid while he is spending money on you.
Oh, and then he gets in the comments or either a different post, and he's like, I think he called it Willie. They was clapping their cheeks on Big Willie. Now they mad about such and such. So you really gonna sit here and talk about how much you love your kids and then debase their mothers on social media for them to grow up and see it? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. And I'm not saying that we're the only ones doing it, but I do see a lot of our YNs, as you pointed out, Sean, that they are called now, having those kind of conversations and doing that. Jason said, wait, question. Why would women choose better if they made it court order fucking feed him as
Would
long
they?
as he pays child? Oh, would women choose? Okay, you know what?
All right, so
That's an honest question.
hold on. Nah, that ain't a question.
Well,
That's not.
I'm just
Hold on. Wait a
honest
second.
from a woman's point of view.
No, that ain't a question. Because Jason, you know, just like I knew, You've been out in these streets. They are not going to choose better. You already know that. You just, I mean, I understand. I appreciate the question. You try to throw some controversy out there. Cool. But nah, you know that. Come on, man.
Jason, most of the ain't shit niggas got good dick. I ain't gonna lie. That's
I keep hearing y'all say that, and that has not been
I'm
my
just saying.
experience.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
understand that.
Hold on. Wait, you
He
said
was
I am not part of y'all. You said y'all. I'm not part of y'all. I don't. You mean women? You talk about women saying that. Don't say y'all.
Okay,
I'm
Because
just saying.
that might imply you talk about
Listen.
us, and I ain't saying that.
I'm saying. Listen.
I
I'm
don't know.
saying.
The best D I done had came from like straight dudes, like had their game face on, running business, a good career, like had their life together. I don't understand this mindset that toxic dudes had the best dick. I just that's
We ain't got shit to do but practice.
I guess listen, he might be thirsty for a place to stay. Maybe that's why it's so good because he's trying to fuck you into living with you.
Be
Like
a homosexual.
right. Cause what? No.
Man, don't get me wrong. It do come with practice, but it's good niggas out there that done had to practice and lay down good dick, and they still good niggas. But the problem with that is, most of them, 90% of them, are married.
What?
So it's only about 10% out there that's still single and can still lay it down.
When you younger, that's when you experience the ancient nigga that.
Now, because when you young,
I ain't
like
gonna lie, the ancient nigga that I can think about that I dated in college, it wasn't good.
Then there's also the pretty dude.
Now you fucked up. You chose wrong.
Then there's also the pretty dude that ain't got.
Because
long.
when I was in college, I was slaying. I'm not for. I don't want to get into nothing, but I'm just saying. Trust me, but I don't want to get into
nothing. You almost had a flashback, didn't you, Sean?
I did. Because
he got that red cup in his hand. He thought he was back at the party.
I was saying
one of them hood.
Nah, because I was on student security. You know what I'm saying? So I had access to buildings niggas ain't even had access to, like, like, so because we had some girl dorms that was all girls that dudes couldn't even come into. They could sit in the lobby, but shit, I could walk up on the floor. Oh my! They gave the fox the key to the hen house.
So what was interesting to me when I was in college, I was like my best friend at the time, she was the manager for the boys basketball team, and I was the manager for the girls basketball team, right? So we were always with them at practice, in the apartments, on the buses, going to the games, like always with them. And it was mind-boggling to me the number of girls that I would hear, like, first of all, see going back and forth to both apartments, okay, because they was getting it on both sides, right? But it was interesting to me the number of girls that I would see go back and forth and then talk about how it wasn't hidden, it wasn't big enough, it was trash, it was whatever, and keep going back. Listen, just because he a basketball star don't mean you got, because why? Houseway or whatever it is they were saying back then. How?
She looking for the check because she figured if she
and that's what it was. They were trying to lock you down in case somebody was in college. Or because I'm like, how? Why you in here holding yourself out? They had video cameras set up. It was all kind of mess, and it was videos being passed around to people. Reputations were being trashed, and I would just sit there and watch. And I remember I had to call one of my friends out about it. Y'all, this really happened. We were walking like through the open part of the campus in the front. And I think the guys were on one side and the girls were on the other side because we were getting ready to get on the bus and go to a game. And so I'm walking with one of my friends at the time. And I swear, sometimes I'm entirely too damn oblivious. I have to work on it. But I'm walking with her and I hear something and I'm like, what is that? And I'm trying to process it because I'm listening to her, I'm paying attention, and I keep hearing her name. And then I see her start kind of shrinking. You know how somebody tries to kind of just hide in your shadow a little bit? And then I hear them laughing and I'm like, okay. So I walked her on out to the parking lot, came back in, and I was like, what's going on? And they was like, yo, your friend a hoe. And I was like, wait. And she had literally been being passed out, y'all. She was being passed around the whole team. So I went and had a talk with her, like, first of fucking all, get your shit together. You too young. We was like 2021. You too young to have this kind of reputation. And ain't none of them niggas worth it. And second of all, you gotta love yourself more, right? And I remember talking to some of the guys, like, why? And they was like, because it's easy. Is she available? Dude. Like, why is that a cultural thing? And again, that's not limited to our community, but that's a cultural thing with sports sometimes, right? Like, it's available, it's pussy, get it. Why?
I beg to differ. I think it is more in our culture because I hate to say this, but most of the white guys that have like money and access and privilege and stuff like that, they got standards. Yeah, they got hoes, but they got standards. And they hoes know they place. I hate to say it, they do. They do. Yeah, they might be fucking their secretary or their, executive assistant or whatever, but I don't know.
Okay, Sean, you
very, very rarely do you see a white dude step out with, like, when I say step out, I mean step out on his what he got at home with trash. But you'll see black folks will step out. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Step out on their mate. Like, seriously, yeah. If they step out on their mate, they're not gonna step with trash.
Because I've noticed on both ends of me, I'm like, yo, if you're gonna cheat up.
Yeah, but it's a lot of black men that are cheat.
Most men don't cheat up. White, black, whatever, they don't cheat up. They just cheat. It's what's easiest for them.
Whatever's available.
Exactly. Just like, yo, she could not have been a hoe if them niggas wasn't like, oh, that's some easy pussy. Let me fuck it.
See, and that was this is why, like, even at that age, there was something in me that recognized that this is stupid as fuck. You got too much to live for to be out here devaluing yourself for some fuck boys. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what word I used at that time, but that was the basic conversation we had. And I put it down to, you can't be my friend and be around me if that's how you're gonna carry yourself. Because number one, we didn't have to do that birds of a feather flock together bullshit. I don't want people thinking that they can try me like that. You know what I'm saying? Number two, I love you too much as a friend to sit back and watch you do this. And you still got to graduate. Like, you still got to go for class every day. If you can't walk through here without being embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? And we got semesters to go and degrees to, like, no. And I was that friend that was having those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like, that they ain't worth it. They some dick. You can go find
that yard and 40 yard. That's a problem.
See. So, first, I'm sorry. You just reminded me. What was that? Was that Boomerang? When he was like, when he was at that dinner, he was like, I know you jawbone. It was dude's wife.
It was kind of like that. Like, it was this whispering, and it started getting louder, and then I was hearing her name. I was like, oh no, we not. Nope, we not going. And I remember going to the guys and asking them to destroy the tape that she was on, because I was like, yo,
and see that's the thing too. Like, well, anyway, yeah, that's too young to be making a tape. Unless that's the profession you plan on going in, that's too young to make a tape. Now, me personally, I've always had an issue with hoes. Don't get me wrong. I love me a freak, but I don't.
What's
I don't
the
like
difference
hoes.
between a hoe and a freak?
So a freak, she a lady in the streets, but if you the right nigga, she turn it up in the bedroom.
Okay.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like you can hit these streets or you can hit these sheets and be happy. What you trying to do? You know what I'm saying?
A hoe,
So,
everybody know.
but that exactly a whole everybody know a freak. People be like, damn, I like to get with her, but they don't know. And you sitting like, shit, nigga, you can't handle that. I got this. Don't worry about it.
You know,
You know
I
what I'm
can't
saying?
lie that as a woman, I've had those moments. Let me catch up on the comments. Jasmine said, as a woman, these women ain't shit now. Some of them ain't. Oh
Right.
my God, they make us look bad. Jason said, women just learning what guys been on. Ugly girls will blow your. Oh shit.
Oh damn.
Do explain why ugly girls will blow your mind. And then that was house party 3. So
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
I can't lie. As a woman, I've been in that moment where I was dating this guy, and like nobody knew that we were dating. It was a mutual decision because of our careers at the time, and you know what I'm saying. So we kept it separate. Like people in our circle knew, but so we were at this event or something. It's something so damn sexy to know that you getting it and everybody else in the room want it. Like even as women, we feel that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you on that one, Sean. Even as women, we be like, "That's mine."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
that's like my biggest. I don't want to say flex, but like when I'm dating somebody and I take them somewhere and all the niggas just look and I see their jaws dropping, but I ain't getting jealous. I'm like, yeah, nigga, I got this. You can't take it. You can try, but you ain't gonna get it.
It's sexy, man. It's a turn on because you know, like, oh, okay. I know he was just folding me up, but you can't have it, baby. You know, like it's a turn on. But I think that's that little joke that went around on TikTok and Demure and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the difference in playing it close to the vest. Like nobody has to know all your business. You can do what you do behind closed doors. Like even here on the podcast, we joke, we talk a lot of shit. Nobody really knows what we do behind closed doors, and it should be that way.
Hold up, pause. Don't say it like that.
Oh wait,
'Cause that-
yeah, get y'all minds out the
We
gutter.
got issues going on and shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
We live in 3 different states. Keep your minds out the gutter. That being said,
that's gonna be the next big issue.
I know, right?
things we gonna
Oh,
be
so
like,
all three of y'all doing
Damn,
something,
right
huh?
now, like Jason,
that.
you want Jason to talk some shit next to
He
me,
gonna be like, oh, y'all had a threesome? No, no.
right? Y'all been having
But but that being said, like I said, we talk shit, we have fun, we talk about a lot of
right,
things, we reveal some pieces and parts of ourselves, but nobody really knows what any of us do behind closed doors. Nobody really
right,
knows what any of the things that goes on in our relationships or our experiences. And I feel like it should be that way. Right.
right,
I always tell people I'm not a sneaky person, but I am a private person. I don't feel like
right.
there's any reason for everybody else to be all up
Ah,
in my
but
Kool-Aid.
let me tell you what it is. People get
Shut up,
private
Sean.
and secretive confused.
They do. They do.
Don't think that I'm keeping somebody a secret because I'm private with it. That's not the case. Now, when you're a secret, you just you so silly. Uh, if you're a secret, the thing is that nobody knows, and and they're really downplaying you and those kind of things, and that is
So here's another question, Gypsy and Sean, because that I was waiting for the segue to happen. So the question came in, and I had just seen a post last week. I think I sent it to you all, but I can't remember. So one of the questions we got for the whole taboo and the things, should we keep our relationship status separate on social media? Like, is that a thing we should be talking about? Is that a thing we should be protecting?
I
And
did.
I thought it was interesting because I saw a post last week, and this chick was basically trying to tell people, like, if your dude ain't posting you all over social media, he cheating and you the side chick. And I'm like, girl, you insecure.
Right.
And it was a lot of people in the comments like, that's right. If he ain't promoting you, if he ain't doing this, you insecure. No, I was married and nobody knew I was married. It was not
Absolutely. I was about to say the
That's
same
crazy.
thing. I was married and nobody knew I was married because my social media was really for my entertainment stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because that's where I was promoting like my plays, my shows, those kind of things and stuff. So just because the masses don't know, the people in the inner circle can know,
Fact.
and they keep that to themselves as well. The thing is that social media has given people such a false sense of entitlement of knowing everything about someone's life,
Right.
um that they think that you're supposed to, yeah, like,
As I
yeah,
said, I
they
don't
think
even
that
post
you're
it no
supposed to know
together.
everything about them. And
Yeah.
I'm, and like Jazz said, I don't need to post you to know we together.
But I think a lot of times people are using it for validation too. Like, okay, if I'm sharing you and everybody know we together, they gonna hype us up. They gonna say how good we look. I'm more of the private person. I'd rather look at the other people finding you attractive and checking you out, knowing I got you at home with me. Like that's I just enjoy that privacy that we have together with our own personal cocoon. I think the more people you invite into things, the more you open yourself up to their jealousy, their insecurities, their issues, their bullshit, their distractions, and it becomes about everybody else instead of about you two. Not to say that you can't change your status or share if it makes sense for you, but I don't feel like we should be in a space where we think we have to or it's not legitimate. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
people trying to be a public success while they're a private failure. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times people are not who they post to be. P O
And,
S.
and, and that's
Yeah,
my whole point. It's like this.
yeah,
It depends on what space you in, what you're trying to
right,
do, and what level you at. Because now, if I'm married, then all day I'm hey, my wife, I'm married, my wife, see my ring, my wife, I'm married.
but you may not
Because
know who my wife is, but I have one.
Right.
but no, but that
That's
exactly
different.
that's what I'm
So,
saying. Like I may not post my wife, but you gonna know I'm married, so don't even be
right.
trying to drop in my DMs and nothing like that.
Right. Christopher, you said facts. What were you saying facts to? I agree with you. Like that's how I did it. I In the beginning, nobody knew that I was married. And it wasn't that I
Right.
was trying to hide it. I just wanted time to be able to be in the experience and figure it out for myself. And then I started, like everybody in our personal circle started to find out because we told, right? But I would reference, oh, my husband, even after I got divorced and I was in a relationship, my
Mhm.
partner, but nobody knew who it was. Now here's where it hit me, and I think this is interesting. I think some of this was maybe cultural, but I'm not sure. So my long-term relationship that I was in, my ex-partner, I had a friend that eventually told me she thought he was a ghost. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't realize it. Like I just am so protective over things, right? So when I moved here and like I was in a new friendship circle, I would always call him by his nickname. I never
Mm,
said his name. Anytime
right.
they wanted to go do, double dates, and that ain't really my thing, I ain't want to go. So I'd be like, no. And then so a couple of years in, I think she called me one day and he was in the background talking about something. And he knew who they were. So he was like, oh, tell so and so. I said, hey. And she was like, who is that? How he know my name? I said, that's so and so. She was like, girl, I thought he was a ghost. But I realized that I'm so introverted. You know what I'm saying?
She
Like,
thought you had a fake ass boyfriend.
see, bitch, I
A
ain't got to make up no
imaginary
fake,
boyfriend.
right? And told him to his face one day. Like, we finally went to one of her holiday parties. And she told him to his face, I thought you was a ghost. Like, I didn't think you was real. I was like, how disrespectful. But the people that needed to know him knew him. They saw him. I just
my
feel
husband, my husband in Wisconsin.
I just feel like it's such a sacred thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have
It is a sacred thing though.
you don't invite
Because
everybody into it.
let me ask you this:
Yeah.
how long was it before you found out Denzel had a wife?
You see what I'm saying? Like even
Exactly.
Wait,
LL Cool
what?
J.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
And
know
I
what I'm
feel like
saying?
that's why they've lasted so long. They protected what they felt like was valuable. It
Mhm.
wasn't on display. Everybody went up in their business. That's not saying again that you can't have the people in your innermost circle.
I
But
mean,
those are the people that you trust. Those are the
I
people
don't,
that you know have good advice. Those are the people that you know give wisdom out of learned experience and not insecurity and jealousy. Those are the people that you know will pray for you and cover you, that will pour into you. Not everybody in your outer circles that just want to be nosy and be
exactly.
like what your man look like, what your woman look like, or might be trying to slide up to him. Because see, I done
But
been
see,
there
that's
watching best friends sleep with each other's husbands. Y'all trifling
and
fuck,
that's some
do it.
bullshit. That's
Right.
some bullshit. And I don't understand because I've known niggas have done it. And I'm like, yo, what the
Right,
fuck?
right.
How the
Like
fuck?
that's crazy to me.
Like, I don't care how, whatever she is.
Right.
Like, if I met a woman
Authentic.
on the street today, and she just everything that I'm looking for, and but she got a ring on,
Nope.
hey, I ain't got no words for you. Hey, how you doing? Keep it moving.
I don't get it.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't lie. If she look like everything I'm looking for, and she got a ring on, and she like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hold on, wait, ain't you married? Oh, don't
You'll
worry
be a
about that.
side man, Sean.
Nah, I ain't no side nigga. I'm just look. This is what it is. Go home, see your husband when I'm done.
Oh my God.
Oh, So you
I
apply for
ain't,
the job.
I ain't no side nigga. I'm just getting my jollies off and that's it. Go
You're the
home to
one
your
hit
husband.
wonder.
Hey, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
You
But
know, but I ain't trying to break up no happy home. But if it's already broken, hey,
well, that's why I said I think the way that I was behaving was somewhat cultural because some of the things that I grew up seeing with people's marriages that were trash and that were in shambles, they always had everybody in it. Everybody was always at their house. Everybody was always together in their business. Everybody was always
Right.
on the phone talking shit about each other. Girl, let me tell you
Yep.
what he did. Or bro, let me tell you what she did. And I looked at all of those experiences and was like, I need to do something different because if this person matters to me, then I want to protect it and cocoon it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, from all the outside things of the world. Like this is sacred. So that's why I said I'm not secretive, but I am very private. And I think that there's something crazy as hell that nowadays everybody feel like they got to put everything on social media every time they go to lunch, every time they get a gift, every time they go on a trip, every time they fuck, every time they brush their teeth, every time they do something. Like I get that some people are doing it for content and money making, but some people are truly doing it for validation
That's
and trying to prove it.
exploitation. Why would you exploit yourself for money? But there are some people, like you said, that's their thing. But also there are some people who want you to, what did they say? They want to be a quote unquote relationship goal. For who?
Right,
Like
for
these
them.
people don't even know you.
right.
But it's for
You're not
them.
gonna be a relationship goal just because, but then again, I digress because there are some people who, follow certain couples, or celebrity couples, and say, "Oh, these are relationship goals," but you don't understand the shit they got to put up with,
And
to be
and have them be
one
miserable behind closed doors.
right. You are only seeing what they let you see. You're not seeing the fact that they probably sleep in separate bedrooms or maybe even separate houses, and
Yep.
that they don't really speak when the cameras turn off.
Now
That
that I mean that's the hard part. But I mean the separate bedrooms and separate houses may just be a thing because this motherfucker got the sleep apnea machine and you ain't trying to be up all night.
Y'all done heard what I said. Listen, that's my ideal. We can live next door.
I mean, but it's a difference between you being in that situation because of something like that and being in that situation because y'all can't really stand each other
Very
Now,
true.
when
But
but
the,
you
if you
don't want to put
can't
it
when
that
if
the
way.
you
cameras
Right,
can't
are
stand
when the cameras aren't flashing.
if you
right.
can't stand each other, then why be together?
Oh, I'm wholeheartedly with you.
Because
Listen, it
it's
ain't that much in
good
the world
for
to keep the person
appearance.
that's miserable.
I
It's
mean,
good for appearance.
just like motherfuckers renting those fucking Aston Martins and Ferraris and McLarens for their rap videos. It's good for appearance, but that shit ain't real.
Right, but that's it. That's what
Shit. We
I
could be
mean.
divorced. We could be
That right there. I
we
like
could
what
be we could
Christopher said.
we could be divorced and still do that shit that's good for the cameras. And I'm over here doing what I want to do that's make me happy, and you doing what you want to do that's make you happy.
And
Fuck the
make your
bullshit.
money. Facts. Christopher said respect goes a long way. These people don't care
Mhm.
about a ring, a title, nothing these days. That's why it's best to keep private business private unless it's a close friend or tight circle. They value attention more these days by allowing everyone in their business. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, Sean, I agree with you that y'all can go about your business, be divorced, let it be done, and still make
Mhm.
your money. But so many people have built their business and their livelihood on selling the image.
They're selling an
Selling.
image. They're not even selling their reality. They're selling an image. And I like what Jazz said. Ain't no way in the hell I'm going to stay with somebody I can't stand.
Baby, because one of us ain't gonna make it out alive at some point. So we need to go
Yeah.
about our business so we can live
Right.
in peace. You
But
understand?
that's the thing is that, you know, remember at one time when everybody was like, I'm doing it for the gram, I'm doing it for the
Yeah.
gram, that kind of thing. And it
Or do it
was
for the vine.
like Christopher said, it was for attention. They
Yeah.
value attention. And the thing is that people need so much attention and validation these days that you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Black Mirror. There was an episode of Black Mirror called Nosedive. And the premise of it was, you know how you rate your Uber driver and you rate this person and that person, you know, how is the service, 3 stars, 5.5 stars, whatever, right? Well, the premise of that was that because of your rating, your social rating, it was determining whether you could be somewhere, live somewhere, um, have a certain job and things like that. Y'all need to look it up. It was season 3, episode 1, and it's called Nosedive. And it was really weird because everybody was walking around with their phones. And like if I encountered Sean and he was my barista, I could give him a rating, but he could also give me a rating. And the girl couldn't live in a certain neighborhood because her social rating was too low.
Oh wow. But that's just like that red balloon thing that's going around. Now they pop the balloons and
Mhm.
and I haven't watched the full episode, so I don't really understand. But I keep seeing the tidbits, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I pop my balloon because of this, and they're saying all the reasons why they wouldn't choose a person to date a person. And that goes back to, I think a lot of this stuff is we have gotten so comfortable in our community. We have gotten so comfortable with the disrespect of one another. I think is why we still have so many things that are taboo sexually, why we still have so many things that are taboo relationship wise. And and I know for me, one of the things that I have really held close as a foundation for my relationship experience is the man in my life has to be vetted and approved by the men in my life, right? Meaning that I'm my own grown woman. I'm always going to make my choice. But I
Right.
think that men see things that women can't see, and women see things that men can't see. And so, more so than my girlfriends giving me their opinion and tell me what they think, I look for the men in their lives. Like my besties, I look for their husbands to say, okay, well, as we were engaged, and I noticed this about him, that or the other. I look for the guys that I consider big brothers. Now, again, I'm gonna
Point,
Mhm.
always make my own choice,
point,
but I
point,
take their
point,
wisdom.
point of order. Point of order.
Please do continue.
Let's say you meet dude and he lays it down on you, and then
Ooh,
you get the male's advice, and it ain't going the way you want it. What's your
Uh-oh.
choice then? Oh,
cut.
okay, all right, hey,
Ain't no dick good enough for me to stay with somebody that either doesn't have my best interest at heart or that has traits that are unhealthy or
okay, all right, hey, that's an honest answer. That's all I was looking for. I just
cut.
wanted to know.
What's that song? You need to cut it. Cut. I don't care how good it is. Because I'm like, men, I say this with all due respect, but just like men feel like women can be replaced, I feel like a man can be replaced. If you got great
Hey,
sex, but you are not healthy for me, or you don't treat me in the ways that help me to thrive, you gotta go.
hey, I encourage everybody to establish their own LLC. I really do. I really
What?
do for your own tax purposes. But that means you running your own company, and
Yeah,
then you have a CEO mentality, which means
facts,
anybody can get it at any time.
facts.
Because
I'm
hey,
trying to tell you.
if we need to cut the fat, we need to cut the fat.
Now, let me also throw this out here. The reason I also say that the man in my life has to be vetted and approved and
Mhm.
acknowledged by the men in my life, I also seek their counsel on checking myself with certain things. So as I navigate relationship challenges, like one of my besties, her husband, he'll call me and he'll be like, "Sis, you all right today?" And I'm like, "I ain't punched nobody in the throat. We good." You
Oh,
know, we good. Life is good. But uh, like real talk, when I'm trying to navigate things or really check myself and reflect on some things, I'll talk to him and I'll give him, kind of a rundown of what's going on because I know that he's gonna give me his masculine perspective. Okay, well, I think this is what you got to see from the guy's perspective. But as a man, as I hear you as a woman describing this is also what. So a lot of times I'm able to receive counsel from both of them, and I think that that's something that we don't always do as a culture that we need to get back to doing. We need to be willing to have people that have healthy situations to give us counsel and wisdom. So a lot of times when I'm in my bullshit, I'm like, sis, let me talk to you. And I'll run it by her.
right,
She'll give me some feedback. And then I'm like, okay, big bro, you ready? And he and I'll have a conversation and he'll give me his thoughts and feedback. Because we need to have healthy vantage points that help us to not only see ourselves, but to see our person. Because we
right.
looking at them in the eye of the storm, pissed off because of whatever's going on. Sometimes we need that outside context. But culturally, I feel like we're still falling into the trap of being pitted against one another.
And
Well,
now go ahead, Gypsy.
I was going to say the other thing is that culturally, um, there's still a stigma attached to women not having a man at a certain age and
Yeah,
this, that, and the other, right? And so some people will stay just because they don't want the stigma attached to them. They'll be
very true.
miserable as I don't know what. They know that he's out here cheating. They know they just really don't want to be with him. That marriage is not what they signed up for. It's not what they thought it was gonna be. But because of image and perception, they stay longer than they should. Guilty.
Yeah, we've
I
But
all
the
been
stayed.
flip,
there,
I
done that.
stayed. I stayed longer than I should have.
We've all
but
been there, done that.
the flip side to that is as a man because I'm is
Don't
I
say
guess
it.
hold on wait just let me I'm trying to work it out because I guess it's more socially acceptable to be a quote unquote lifelong bachelor,
Mm.
but at the
Versus
same
a single.
time when you're a lifelong bachelor but you got this best friend that's always with you all the time, you
Mm,
know, what kind of scenario is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying I'm not putting nothing on nobody. I'm just saying I've seen it quite a few times. But
All
then
all facts.
the other side to that is when you just a man that's like, I want to preserve my peace over everything.
right.
Hmm.
And you dealt with women and it's like, yo, it's nothing more priceless than my peace of mind. And I'm not willing to give that up for just anybody.
Hmm.
So you have to be a phenomenal woman.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm not encountering that. I mean, I'm just encountering women that have their own agenda that's trying to push for it because they don't want to be expensive. So then how you supposed to feel? You
Okay,
know,
so
That's
now
real.
I want to throw this in there.
Mm.
Is it possible that because you've been, I mean, I'm not saying you've been a lifelong bachelor, like you've been living like a hermit or anything, but that single or whatever for so long that you just kind of like your tolerance level isn't there for anybody that you feel falls short. And so while you say, oh, well, I'm not going to give up my peace, I'm not going to give up my peace. But at the same time, it sounds almost as if now you're setting your ways.
Now, and I feel you on that. And so, okay, so let me clarify because I'm actually compiling conversations from different friends that I've talked to that feel a certain way because of certain things that happen. And I always say you can't make somebody else pay for somebody else's cuts.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because that person cut you and made you bleed. You can't put this on the next person.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to be there and be analytical about the situation.
Mm.
You can't put everything on everyone, but as a man from situations I've been in, women kind of apply the same scenario to every dude
I
because
think
this
both
dude,
sexes do it.
no, 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 don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, and that's the only caveat is that I've never dealt with a man, so I can't speak to what men do in a relationship. I can only speak what women do. And trust me, I already knew because I'm like, when I thought about it, I'm like, damn, that is kind of fucked up. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, men do this shit too. But I can't really speak to that part of it because I've never experienced it.
Well, I'm gonna catch up the comments and then I'll share my thought on that. Christopher said opinions from others can be a good and a bad thing. It's all about that one-on-one connection. I'll listen and keep it in the box, but I'll definitely have to have my own thoughts and opinions. Yes, that's where emotional and emotional maturity and emotional intelligence come in, right? Like my friends know me. I'm gonna use me as an example. They know me. They know they can say whatever they gonna say up to a point. Because if it get to a point I don't want to hear that shit, I'm gonna tell them go on and shut it down. Listen, we
Mm-hmm.
gonna put that boundary right there. And my one of my besties, she like Jay, you bold with it. Yup, we can be in mid conversation. I'm like, all right, that's enough. I'm good. Right? Because you again, I think we have to break down the cultural bullshit that we're stuck in, this wash and spin cycle that we're stuck in with hating each other, this the war between the sexes, right? We have to go back to getting that old school wisdom from G-Ma, Grandmama Dear,
Right.
Pop Pop, G-Pop and all the things. We got to go back to getting the wisdom from the aunties and the elders and
You
the
can't
uncles
get a
and the
wisdom
aunties.
from somebody that's only 40 and she grandma.
Right. So we got to be open to the wisdom. However, we also have to develop our own emotional wisdom, our own emotional intelligence, our own boundaries, our own self care, self reflection. Like, that hands down, you got to know that self. So I'm cold with it when it comes to my boundaries. I seek wisdom, again, using me as an example, but I'm always able to say that's either something off limits, I don't want to talk about it, or not your business, or thank you for your feedback, or no, I don't want your feedback. Like we have to have safety in the conversations that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I think that's part of why we're here because those conversations have been disconnected. That's just my thought on it. I feel like we are disconnected from our elders, from our wisdom amongst our friends group as well, because everybody in fucking competition. Like, get you some people that actually want to see you succeed and not trying to
Right.
outrace you to the end, whatever they think the end is going to be. Ronnie said, "Hey," and then Christopher said, "That's so true. Peace is everything." Yep. And then I'm always straightforward, Jasmine. Yeah.
Yes,
And
she is.
I agree with you, Sean, but I also think that there are a lot of men, going back to what you were saying, I think that there are a lot of men, because I have these conversations all the time, that are wounded and they still talking about what their ex-wife did fucking 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I ain't gonna never be in a relationship again because that hoe cheated on me, or she broke my heart, or she left me, or she gave up on me, or she didn't believe in me, or whatever the case is. And now they fucking their way across the eastern seaboard, or dogging women, or refusing to love again because, and I'm like, but dude, y'all think women are emotional and wounded. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. Like, I love black men. You can't ever tell me that black men ain't amazing. Y'all God on earth, right? But that being said, a lot of our black men are wounded and they're refusing
Nah,
to admit that they're wounded.
no,
Right.
they are, and it's only because of the culture. Because we're not in a culture that allows us to emote
True.
on a regular basis. And if y'all want to know where emojis come from, the word emote is it's emotions. And
Mm-hmm.
black men have always been raised to, yo, nigga, you ain't no bitch. You don't
Shut the
cry.
fuck up.
You
Yeah.
keep that shit down. And exactly,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, and that's also part of the problem because a lot of black women, and I'm not blanketing the whole race of black women. I'm just saying there are a lot of black women, going back to what we were talking about earlier, like
Yeah.
those ghetto minded ones that don't understand that a man has to express his emotions. And so
So
as soon as he
let me
expresses
ask
his
you a
emotion, oh,
question.
now he a bitch.
So let me ask you a question. And this occurs to me because I, and again, I always use myself because I try not to use other people's specific examples, right? I'll just use me. So I think in terms of my dad was a veteran, he was crazy as shit and mean. And then my uncle was Navy. You know what I'm saying? And I remember 8, 9, 10 years old being in the house with my uncle and me and my cousin, his son. We because they adopted me. We'd be doing something and he would take a spoon and beat us on the knuckles to correct us. I remember him, punching my cousin in the chest and saying, "Stop that shit." Like when he would cry, because he was a couple of years younger than me. So if I was like 8 or 9, he was like maybe 6. You know what I'm saying? I know that to this day, that's one of the reasons why I can switch it like I can. And they'll be like, "Jay, you a dude in a girl's body," because I had that experience. I think that part of my thought process on that is you have girls that weren't allowed to be soft.
No,
So
that's
we
true.
so we grew up, you know what I'm saying? We grew up being tough. Like, I was rumbling and tumbling with my boy cousins watching WWF and WCW, and it was helicoptering my ass and dropping me, and I was getting up throwing fists, like we
Right.
have girls that weren't allowed to be soft, but then we have boys that weren't allowed to emote. And so then we grow up to become these adults that are at odds because neither one of us got
Mm-hmm.
what we needed in that childhood experience. So now you got us all running around in these adult bodies trying to figure it out, and we're wounding each other instead of having these conversations.
That's my whole point is that it is okay as a man. It is okay. Like and I'm gonna be just straight up honest with you. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm fuck
Hit
a
me.
bitch. Fuck a bitch. If I open up and I express my feelings and
Yeah,
you want to act whatever kind of way, fuck you. At least I got that shit off my chest, and
yeah.
that's what it is. You want to act like, oh, you a bitch? Okay, all right. You wasn't saying that when I was blowing your back out, but hey, we ain't gonna bring that up. Go about your business, and I'm gonna go about mine. Because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say it because I've learned, and it's life lessons.
Mm,
And a lot of people don't go through those. Like they just keep going through life with whatever mindset they have, and think that's okay. And it ain't fucking okay because you keep that shit pent up inside, you're gonna
yeah,
fucking die early, or you're gonna go through a whole bunch of bullshit. And then
yeah.
you're like, why my life so fucked up? You know why? Because you can't get in touch with your real self. And that's what it's
So,
about.
so let me ask you a question, Sean, as the masculine perspective. Uh, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. So I watched that video that you sent us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is Doctor Ooh, fuck. You know who I'm
No,
talking about.
it wasn't Dr. Umar. The one I sent, it was just a regular guy, but he was just talking about how a lot of women, well, so from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot of women are trained or tuned into the caucasity of the situation
The Caucasus. Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
because they think because that's what they have, that's what they supposed to have.
So what I took from his video was interesting because I wholeheartedly agreed with what he was saying as far as uh, what you just said. A lot of times black men will let themselves be soft, vulnerable. They want to feel safe, and they get that crazy response and it shuts them down, right? But I'm curious because what I think I've also seen in my years, of working with people is a lot of the times a man is so pent up and he's so all over the place and all the things that by the time he decides to let his guard down with her, he done fucking beat her down emotionally. So by the time he
Right.
decides to come back and try to get it right and figure it out and be vulnerable and do the things, she ain't got shit to give him. And then it's like, oh, but you won't let me be soft. No, nigga, you done broke her. She don't have anything to give you because you broken her. Now you're two broken people. And I'm not saying that a man is responsible for a woman's well-being because we have to have our own accountability as far as how we let a person treat us and what we do. But in the guise of a lot of people staying, and holding it down and making it through the rough patch, I've seen a lot of women stay. And the man was talking crazy to him, mistreating them, driving them to drink and just be broken down. And by the time he recognizes, oh, I got to get in touch with my vulnerability, I need to do better, she ain't got shit to give him. And
Nah,
I'm not saying that's
see,
every case, but I do think it's
nah,
got to be
nah, but
after some
see, but
time.
but you missed everything that he was saying. Now, I'm
Okay.
not
I
saying
don't
I'm
know we
not.
was watching the same video because I
No,
thought
no,
I was
no,
watching
not
something
because
too
no,
far.
I'm gonna explain it to you as a man. I
Okay.
don't. I understand that maybe that does happen. I'm not saying it does. Okay, let me. Yes, that does happen. What you're saying, that does happen. I'm
Mhm.
not saying maybe it does, but he's coming from a different point of view where he's like, yo, I'm trying to,
Mm.
but when I try to now,
With
oh,
something
I'm
else.
just being a bitch ass nigga and
I
this,
got
that, and I need the man to fuck up and
Oh
whatever the
wow.
fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's where
you.
he's coming from. He's not
So
coming
I
from a
did get
point,
that, but again, I feel like I've
but
seen even that.
he's not coming from a point where he's like she's talking to him and he's just like whatever, bitch, and then by the time he opens up, that she's already like she just gave so much that she can't give no more. He's coming from the point of view like, yo, you expect these things. You want to feel
Mhm.
safe. I
Yeah,
want to feel safe too. I want to
right.
know that when I come home and be like, yo, babe, I got pulled over by the fucking cops and these niggas had me out in handcuffs, all this bullshit, that you understand the severity of that situation.
Right.
Not that you come in,
Yeah.
well, what was you doing? Like, I wasn't doing shit.
This brings to mind another question. Do you think your example actually made me think of a situation that I experienced? I was dealing with some racism stuff, and the guy that I was dating at that time years ago, he was real chocolate, big guy, right? And so you know what people think, right? When you see dudes in the street. So I ended up telling him, hey babe, I had a rough day at work. I was going through such and such because I think it was some classism with me and some of the other ladies, and then I think it was some racism with da 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 da. And he literally interrupted me and was like, "You think that's bad? Let me tell you what I be going through out there." And I don't, and I know that he didn't mean it to be harmful, but in that moment, I didn't give a shit what he was talking about because I'm like, dude, I'm bleeding all over you right now. So
And see,
I think in that instance, sometimes people are trying to support each other. I'm rooting
no,
for
no,
people to
no,
be
no,
doing the
no.
right
That's not trying to support each other. Trust me, that's not.
Right.
thing.
That's not. It's not
I'm,
because
I'm trying to spin
if
it in a
you
positive way, but
no,
yeah.
no, and I know you are, but there's no way to spin that because that's exactly what I'm talking about from a man's point of view. Because
Yeah.
You have no idea how many women when I'm like, yo, blah blah blah, and then they just want to just take and because with me and with me and with me, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just shut
I
up
got
like,
you.
okay, when we gonna get off the phone? Because I mean, I was trying to
Yeah.
get shit off my chest and try to talk and try to rely on you. Supposed to be my rock, my safe place,
Yeah.
but you want to make everything about you. Okay, all right, go ahead, make it about you. Let's get the fuck off the phone so I can go the fuck about my business because that's some bullshit. Because if you call me
Exactly.
with that, no matter what happened in my day, hold on, wait, are you
Right.
good? Talk to me. Let's
Right.
talk this out. Let's,
Ladies, y'all
but
saw how Sean's voice changed just then? He
Right. That's that seduction voice.
okay. He came with that Papa Bear voice. Just I couldn't help it.
Right.
My bad. Okay, but Sean, I do have a question for you. So there's this coach Jason somebody, and I was watching an interview that he did. And he was saying sometimes it's a language barrier between men and women. Like women may honestly want to offer that safe space and that support, but we're saying, hey, I want you to be safe with me, I want you to be vulnerable with me. And he was like, therein lies the problem, because that language is not translating for men. The average man does not really want to be vulnerable. Like we as a woman, me as a woman may say to my man, maybe I just need to be soft, I just need to be vulnerable right now. He was like, but black men ain't really trying to say that. We have to figure out the languages that y'all need to hear in order to maybe convey that we truly want to offer that space. What do you think about that?
the best language is talk to me, baby. That's the best language. Talk to me, baby.
Why
Go
you
ahead.
always put on that seduction voice?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's in it. I'm sorry. I convey my feelings through my voice. So if that's what I'm like, yo, talk. Like, what's going on?
He put
Talk to
that
me.
bedroom voice and them eyes on her. She gonna
I
get
mean,
in.
Right,
it's
She gonna get
exactly.
in.
it's not. Look. I'm trying to let you know I'm here for you. That's all. I mean,
We just playing.
I'm just saying. It's not nothing like I got a plan. It's just what comes out.
Christopher said, it's not good to hold that in because you will always punish others for not being able to express yourself. Oh, fact. Sure said, let's say the relationship is based on the partners that are chosen. What were we talking about, Sure? What are you referencing? But I agree with you, Sean. So when you say, baby, talk to me, I think that's another thing that we have to remember. Everything don't work for everybody. And just because it didn't work for somebody doesn't mean it can't work for you. So that's a big part of communication that we have to have as partners, spouses, people, etc. In an experience with somebody, we have to be able to ask, what is it that you need? How do you need it? How do you need me to express these things? What do you need to hear from me, etc., so that we can give the person what they need the way they need it? Because it worked for the previous 20 people don't mean it's going to work for them. And I think
Right.
a lot of us are guilty of trying to navigate every experience the same way over and over and over and over again. Or because it worked for mama and pop and them, we still stuck in that cultural stigmatism of that's how they did it, that's how I'm gonna do it too.
Most of the
I
time,
mean,
Pop
let
Pop
me.
and them, Mama did it like that because she had no choice. She,
I'm gonna tell you.
no, when I say she had no choice, what I'm saying is women couldn't get bank accounts until the mid 70s.
No, I'm
Like,
gonna, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you. All women. All women. Look, get you a
So
moo
let's
moo.
not paint this
Get
stereotype that
you.
every
No,
woman
no,
was
I
going
ain't.
to broke
I ain't
down
get. I
and
don't look. Listen. Get you a moo moo. The moo moo work.
the
yeah, but
movie
they
was
don't make
having
them no
12
more.
babies
I'm
in the
trying
house.
to
That
find
Baby,
me
they
grown.
still
one.
make. They still make
I
moo
was
moo.
trying to find me one. I want that button down one like Grandma had.
Hey,
I
that's
got
exactly the
moo
one you need.
y'all.
You
I
you need the
got
button
moo
down
y'all.
one. You need the button down one because Pop gonna want to rip it open. You ain't gotta
Right.
take it
Let
out. You
me
just
look
gonna rip it
on
open.
Amazon and see if they got
Look,
one.
look, and that's gonna alleviate. That's gonna alleviate a lot of niggas. And when he come home and see that moo moo, trust.
Look, and don't have it unbuttoned already a little bit so he can see a little
Mm,
cleavage or had an ass
mm,
peeking out a
mm,
little bit. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Sure said
Right.
that voice and them eyes make her feel like she has his total attention. Okay.
Right.
Communication between the couple so that he or she understands what he or she may need. People are not self-aware. Facts. With
True.
that being said, it's time to go. Anything that y'all want to throw out there
See,
before we
what
break
ain't like
into it
Memar's house yet? Oh, there go one.
tonight?
See, I told you
Oh,
they
that
still
thing
got him.
good boy. I need the snaps.
Nah, you need the snaps, but yeah, they still got moo-moos. Trust me.
I sure
That,
was
that,
out here.
yeah,
Look,
that,
ladies,
that.
I'm
either that
looking.
or get the little booty shorts where your little butt cheek hanging out just a little bit. You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
need Mama. Listen, I need my Mima's
Your
the
Mima.
Snapchat because
Okay.
she had kept him around for a reason. He stayed around for a reason.
Sure said Ross in Alabaster if you in Alabama, and Macy's sells them. You're welcome. Okay.
Those are not amazing what he need. But
Anything else
anyway,
y'all want to throw out there
like,
before we bring this one to an end tonight,
yeah,
y'all? Beautiful people.
yes. What so Sean and I were talking over the weekend, and I was thinking about the whole thing about grief, but people, not just grief as far as people dying, but grief
Mhm.
as far as changing in your sense of normalcy, change in your patterns, and changes in your behaviors. And the thing
Yep.
is, I find it very disturbing, ironic, couple of different adjectives could go for it. But when you talk to people about stuff, you ever notice that people say, well, pre-COVID, da da da,
Yeah.
or pre-COVID, or before 2020, da da da,
Yeah.
because our frame of reference has changed, and it's hard to remember things before COVID. And then
Yeah.
now, if you got friends that work in the government and stuff, y'all, please don't say, "Oh, you could just get another job," and things like that, because their
Yeah.
sense of normalcy is being changed. The things that they know, that believe in. Listen, a lot of people that work for the government are not in it for the money, because they can make more money in the
In
civilian
the
sector.
private sector. Yeah.
They're in it for their belief in something bigger than themselves, and their sense of service. So I think it's very brash and um, just kind of really like disconnected to say things like that. To say things like, "Well, you can get another job," or "It's just a job," and da 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 da. But people are being unceremoniously ripped from everything that they have known and believed in, and give them grace, because they may not know that it's grief, because again, it's not the loss of a person through death or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a loss of their sense of self
Yeah.
and their identity.
Absolutely. Christopher said real communication goes a long way. Listen to each other instead of getting just your point or problems across. It has to be mutual. Absolutely. And Gypsy, I feel like, we've talked about this on past episodes, and maybe we need to circle back to it again, because I feel like a lot of times people do conceptualize grief as this simple linear experience, that my dog died or my child died or my spouse died or grandma died, like this human or this tangible thing that we put into the ground, right? And we can grieve our former selves. We can grieve the things that we can no longer do. We can grieve the house that we grew up in that we no longer get to live in, grandma's house, nana's house, papa's house. We can grieve, not being able to see people as we did through the COVID experience. We can grieve the loss of a job. You know what I'm saying? We can grieve, the changes that are going on in society, because grief is really all about release. It's about, the cathartic experience of letting something die off and separate and release, right? But a lot of times I think people just react, and they sometimes, let's be real, some people talk just to hear themselves fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? And then other times people, I think, may genuinely want to be helpful. And so instead of shutting the fuck up, they want to say something to make you feel better. And they end up saying something like, oh, it's just a job, because they want you to not stress. They want you to feel better. People are uncomfortable watching people they love go through. Like, that's the realness of it. You know what I'm saying? People are uncomfortable with silence. And so I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, because I know you're navigating this every day.
Yeah.
in your position and the
Yeah.
things that you do. You're watching your friends have to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I
And it's
I have
hard
things
because
to
you
gather.
have survival skill. I
Yeah.
have survivor skill because I haven't been tapped on the shoulder yet, but I know plenty who have.
Hmm.
And so then there's survivor's guilt. And then there's, there's those kind of things. So,
And it's real.
real. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us because I know it's not easy.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And I guess I will end it by just saying my hope, as we've talked about, sometimes we talk about a whole bunch of sex shit. And then
Yeah.
other times we talk about, everyday things that are relevant in our lives and in our
Yeah.
community. And so thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, because I know that wasn't easy. Thank
Yeah.
you for your service, because I know that every veteran sacrifices a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Their families go through, their children go through. I can't understand as a veteran, but I know the things that I grieve from my dad being a veteran. You know what I'm saying? So I take this opportunity, and I'm sure you and Sean agree with us. Yes. Thank you guys for your service. If you're watching and you've been a veteran, or if you're active military, or if you're the family of military, because listen, y'all all in that service,
Yeah.
y'all all giving and
And
sacrificing.
if you're a government worker, we
And government worker,
appreciate you because right now they are really going through it, y'all. Do you know what it's like to commute to work
And
and get
not know if
there?
you got a job.
Well,
Mm.
get there and your badge don't work and they telling you fired. Like
yeah,
that literally happened here last week. People were commuting at 5 something in the morning because it takes us a long time to get to work. People were commuting at 5 something in the morning. An email came through their email, but they on the train trying to get to work. They get
yeah,
to work and they locked out of the building because they don't have a job.
it's real out there right now.
So
My
I
hope
mean,
is that somebody will see this and operate with a little bit more compassion. We are all going through,
right,
right? Like
yeah,
everybody, especially if you in a black body, brown body, if you consider yourself a person of color,
yeah,
however you identify, right? Whatever ethnic group or indigenous group you identify with,
yeah,
it's scary right now. Like people don't know if they're going to be okay. We also have the situation with the Carmelo Anthony young man. I think that's his name, right? That stabbed the white boy in the chest that attacked him.
yeah,
And so it's just the world is on fire, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
The world is on fire and people are reacting and everybody's scared and trying to do their best. I try to give people credit, so we're gonna say they're trying to do their best. But
yeah,
my hope is that if they watch this, then it challenges all of us to act with a little bit more compassion
right,
for ourselves and for the people that we're engaging with. Because real talk, you don't know what somebody going through. You really don't. And a smile can mask a lot of pain. So my challenge to everybody as we end this episode is just to figure out how you can act with a little bit more love, a little bit more compassion, and check on your people, guys.
right.
Check on your people because everybody is not okay. Okay.
Exactly.
So with
Exactly.
that, we love you for being a part of our audience. Thank y'all as y'all
Yeah.
continue to help us grow and
Christopher, come
spread
back.
this
We have
word.
not seen you before. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks to all our repeats. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you all next week on next Monday. Remember, we're on Mondays now. Thank you guys.
Wednesdays. Oh, and let me give you the topic so y'all can go ahead and get them questions ready. So next week is relationship pitfalls. What have you fallen victim to in your relationships, y'all? What
Oh,
struggles?
Lord.
What struggles have you been in that you done
Oh,
learned from people that you can tell somebody about to do better? And just I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Lord.
We need another poem next week. It's been a minute. We need another poem next week. But okay, we love you. Bye, y'all.
Hello.